Good morning, everybody. I'm Joe. I'm out in with Writers of the Future out in Los Angeles this morning. It's Friday. It's actually Gala Day, so if you're here for Writers of the Future, this is the day we're all here for. It's going to be a great day. I'm just you see Mike said, I said, take that go on here. I'm going to fix it. I'm sorry, I got confused there for a minute, people. We have Mike Talbot with us, and we're going to get him to give himself a proper introduction in just a second. Remember, guys and girls, we are out here. If you're a member of Writers of the Future and you're hanging out, be sure you're here for Friday because today is the day. I can't wait for the gala tonight. I'll be working press most of the afternoon, and then I'll be eating the rest of the day while the stars are up there doing their gig. I'll be kicking out. Fortunately, I have to get on those stages. I'm good with that. I just got to sit and watch. But it's been a great event so far. We've talked to a lot of people. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of good stuff going on out here. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, sure. Hey, everyone. My name is Michael Talbot. I'm an illustrator, freelance illustrator, originally from Jamaica, based in Boston, Massachusetts right now. I was a past winner 8 years ago for Volume 30 for Writers and Illustrators of the Future, and I'm back as an alumni as well as an illustrator for one of the stories in this year's volume. So, yeah.
Yes, I'm teaching the rookies how to paint. How to draw. So,
yeah, draw, paint, and, make art. Yeah.
Well, actually, that's one of the first questions we're going to ask. What is your favorite medium? What painting, oil, CGI?
No, yeah, sure. So I would say I do a lot of children's books now, and that tends to be like a lot of digital art, but I find myself enjoying traditional art more. So I use a lot of acrylic paint, markers, pen and ink. I use a lot of paint markers because I have a very graphic illustrative style. So I like that harsh line. So yeah.
I like acrylic for some reason, but that's because I'm in construction. It's just a good thing all the way around. So 8 years ago, so now you're here teaching the babies. Well, I shouldn't call babies, but
no, a lot of them are older than me.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Some of them are kind of a little on the old side. That just tells you, ladies, you're never too old to enter. We've had winners last year from 17 to 68, and this year I think it is 17 to 72. So never too old to enter. Get your talent, get up here, pay attention. If you win, they treat you really well. They fly you down, feed you, stuff you around, work the hell out of you the whole time. They don't scare everybody. It's not okay. It's not like a torture thing. Well, it's a little bit of a torture. They shack you up with your partner and they work you. But the work's a good thing. You're going through classes that these are all big artists.
Yeah.
They all know what they're doing. They all can help you out in the long run. If you listen and pay attention, let me say this before I let Mike talk about it. I have learned more about art and author in the last 2 years than I have in the last 40. It just tells you how much they cram in. And if I can actually learn something, I'm sure anybody who comes here can actually learn something. Again, you have to submit people to enter. You have to submit. We'll go back to 8 years. So how did you feel when you were a winner? Was it like, wait, first off, two questions. What made you think you could paint or draw? And what made you decide to enter?
So answering the first question, I back then I wasn't very social. I wasn't very outgoing. I just keep to myself, and the way I'd pass time was to draw or do art and make art.
Unknown thing for artists. But
Exactly. So growing up, my mom would notice this and just buy me a bunch of coloring books and sit down with me and teach me how to color within the lines, and it just kept with me all the way through the years. And ultimately, while I was in school, people just knew me for my art, and that was it. So I was like, you know what? Half of the work is already done. I'll just go into the art biz, and it's been going well ever since. And I guess in terms of what made me want to enter, again, I went to art school and tuition was crazy. So I knew I needed money. So I was looking up a bunch of scholarships and art competitions with cash prizes and stuff to help offset some of that cost. And I just randomly stumbled upon Illustrators of the Future and decided to enter. And once I did, I completely forgot about it until a couple months later. I just got a random call and was like, hey, is this Michael Talbot? You're one of the finalists. I'm like, wait, finalists for what? Who's this? And they're like, yeah, this is the competition Illustrators of the Future. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And yeah, once that happened, they flew me out, and it definitely caught me off guard. But it was one of the best experiences I had. So yeah.
Yeah, imagine. It's now. Were you in the U.S. at the time? Or were you in Jamaica still?
I was in the U.S. So I came to the States in like 2012, and early 2013. That's when I entered the competition, and I won, and I came to the gala in 2014.
Yeah, because you had to be here for a while because your accent is just, for Jamaican, and you just.
That's true. It's true. I would say
Friends from there sometimes.
I've.
What are you saying?
Yeah, I guess I've had practice in terms of like not necessarily masking it, but fitting into the areas that I am, just because I know that a lot of times it can be hard for people to understand me.
Yeah.
So to make life easier for me and for like a smoother transition, I've been able to adapt and like change and stuff. But like once I'm talking to another Jamaican, it comes out. There's no stopping it.
I definitely understand that. My wife gets in the country, she reverts to a redneck immediately. I'm like, baby. I said, how long has been such a good country? She just goes on. And I know when I get home, see, my accent's heavy here, but it's nothing to like when I get home in New Orleans. And people be like, Joe, what are you saying? Like, shut up, man, leave me alone. But no, you got a nice, clear, crisp voice, man. That's a good thing, especially if you're going to be doing teaching. Wait, didn't I hear something about children's books? Let me go back.
Yeah. So while I was still in college, what was it, 7-8 years ago was the first, actually, yeah, I got my first children's book gig because of Illustrators of the Future. They saw the gala, they had looked me up, they were looking for Jamaican illustrators, and one of the press releases from that like specifically called me out, or not called me out, but like posted that I was a Jamaican illustrator who was one of the winners. And they found me through that, got my first book job. And then since then, I've been working on children's books. Ever since.
Well, that's a great thing, because it was funny last year. I talked to a lot of authors last year, just like I did this year. Not many of them were doing children's books, but at least 4 of the illustrators I talked to last year were doing children's books.
Interesting.
And I was kind of like, okay, well, I said, then you submit. They're like, why? I said, because this is a short story. You might get to win twice. They're like, can I? I said, yeah. I said, just because you won the illustrators don't mean you can't come back and write.
Exactly.
Like, we understand that's the way it works. I said, you can double win. I said, but you can't come back as an illustrator. I'm sorry, that doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
But so it's good. So you had a nice success story out of it. I love that piece you had on that mural. That was a great piece of art.
Thank you.
Especially anybody who can put it on cinder block like that. That's a lot of work. And when I zoomed in, I didn't see any really pits. It looked really good. Definitely had a good coat on it. The paint you use will probably outlast both of us. One thing about acrylic, you don't like to fade and don't like to go away. I mean, it may blister one day, 20 years, 30 years from now, but it'll stay there.
It's there for
it's not
going
like
to be
oil.
there.
Oil will fade in 2 years, and acrylic will be there. You'll be coming back and saying, oh, man, it still looks good. Damn. But it is a nice piece of work.
Thank you.
There's just not enough people doing. I was talking to a friend of mine. She does stuff inside. She won't do anything outside.
Yeah.
And in New Orleans, what they used to do is they let the prisoners paint all the murals in the city. I guess for like rehabilitation. But and somebody came along and said it's cruel and unusual punishment. I'm like, wait, what? So they made them stop.
Yeah.
We tried to hire a couple of different people. Oh no, it was a mess. Then they wanted to use some local black artists, to let them in. And a couple of them been really good. They were always doing like jazz scenes, which is fine. It's in New Orleans, but they needed more than like the aquarium. They did a big mural, big giant whale swimming through the water. It's a gorgeous mural, but they want more than that. The New Orleans, for some reason, has a hard time attracting good artists. They do for like Mardi Gras. I was saying it the other day. If you come down, they want you to do an oil painting. And if they like your oil, then they'll turn it into 2 or 3 million posters. And I think they give you like $1 a poster or something. They sell it for like $30.
Yeah.
Actually, it's probably $50 now, but like, is it frame? Well, it's one of them. Plastic lacquer frames. And things.
Yeah.
They sell the hell out of them. I mean, you get them just rolled up too, but they sell the hell out of them. What's nice about it, you can go right now, go downtown right now, go all the way back almost 100 years and still find a poster from that issue. Oh. So your work would always be at stage.
Yeah.
Great thing. I mean, I don't know how hard it is to get the gig. I'm sure there's other people putting it in, but you probably have a leg up because where you're from.
Fair. It's worth a shot.
Well, they're always looking for unique people.
Yeah.
And New Orleans has a lot of them. It's a melting pot. When you get there, everybody's there. But it's a strange city. You get downtown, you're looking around and go, hey, he's not. He didn't live. And they all live there now, but they're not originally from there. But about half the population's not from there. Especially since Katrina. There was about 500,000, 600,000 people living there. The population dropped about about 250,000. Well, at the time, it dropped about 400,000.
Yeah.
So it's steadily coming back, but it's not the locals coming back. They're staying wherever they were. These are
Yeah.
new people
Yeah.
coming in. It's weird. It's kind of changed the flavor of the city a little bit.
Interesting.
It can
Yeah.
be changed. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes change is a good thing. So, where you headed next?
The aim is to get more into the public art scene. I want to do more murals. I want to get into just more public art, so that, like, staying or extending art into areas that is just more accessible. Don't just have it in galleries or, like, art-centered communities or just groups like that. Exactly.
I mean, it'll help you, but not as much. I know you have a digital portfolio. Maybe you should just send it to all the art places in all the big cities. Say, hey, look, 'cause I know Philly. I was watching a special in Philly the other day. They had some great artists, but for some reason they all moved out. Detroit had really a couple of good. They all moved out.
Wow.
So what's happening is there's a big
vacuum
migration in our country, right? Everybody's kind of shifting directions. Probably about 15 years, you're going to see the way we do red and blue states are going to change because everybody's shifting around.
Yeah.
Not exactly why somebody's, I guess because of maybe COVID or something, but everybody's just
also
on the move.
Yeah.
But it's creating opportunities for people that weren't normally there. So I did an interview with Neil deGrasse Tyson. He runs the Metropolitan in New York. And he's telling me they're always looking for it. Always.
Nice.
He said this on air. He said, if y'all artists are listening, that you should always submit to us. He said, because they have a, what do they call it? They have two different kind of galleries, one for up and coming artists and one for established artists that are looking to take their career to the next level.
Yeah.
And he's a nice guy. He's an interesting character, actually. Because he came on my show called UFO Undercover, which I was amazed he even came on it. But it had such a large audience, he wanted to come in. He was just a lot of fun to talk to.
Nice.
And he said it. He said, look, you artists out there, he said, you sculptors, he said, submit your work to us. He said, it's a huge library, people. He said, you're always looking for people. And then the Smithsonian they do black artists. And since you're from Jamaica, you probably have a good chance because they like doing it out of country and stuff like that. But they want to do local too.
Yeah.
But they want to do out of country too. And I think they're trying to show like levels, not exactly short it because I was watching a couple of weeks ago on TV, and they had all the different artists. I mean, there was some from where you're at, some from Europe, some from South America, some from America, and they want to see good artists get the 10 they deserve. Because it's hard in this country. There's so many people, and there's so many. I say this nicely, half-ass artists. There's a lot. I mean, I see a lot of artwork, and I'm like, really? That's art? I said, man, was I stoned or something? I said, maybe. I mean, I'm not an art critic by any means. I mean, I know what decent art looks like, but I'm still lost when it comes to Picasso. So I got a good friend of mine who's a big Picasso fan, right?
Yeah.
Let's go see. He wanted to fly somewhere and go see him. I'm like, somewhere in Europe. I'm like, no. He's like, why? I said, dude, because I get a headache after walking through. Because I flew over to see Van Gogh a while back. And I really enjoyed it. And I gotta say, seeing it up close is different than seeing it on television.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't get any epiphanies and anything like that. Nothing like that. But his colors are just great. Not necessarily everything he was painting. Some of the pictures are like, why were you painting that a haystack? Were you on crack or something? But the colors are great. He really does. And when I actually seen the sunflower, it looked really like a live sunflower. Yeah. And I was laughing because Echo said last night some of the paints might still be wet because he put some wet paint on the thing.
Yeah.
But
just laid on thick.
And what bothers me about this, so somebody the other day got mad at me because I said something like that. And I said, well, look. I said, we're judging Van Gogh from a few hundred years ago, but how does his art stack up against some of the artists? Man, I've seen work in here as far as color-wise, just as good as his. But for some reason, we're just stuck. I guess because he killed himself and it was 400 years ago. But we need to start saying, okay, this is Van Gogh, this is such and such today. But, and because I've seen a guy from actually out here in California, he lived up in Northern California, and he reproduced Van Gogh's Sunflower. Yeah. And they got a line side by side. You can't tell the difference. He's a fabulous painter. And he only likes to work with oils. He really, actually, I should say acrylics because he had told me he'd switched from oil to acrylic. I never thought about acrylic on canvas. But I guess it's just as easy to paint with. Actually, yeah, because it's water-based.
Exactly. It's just like all these new mediums, or not new mediums, but like different mediums coming up and stuff. It's just about preference and subject matter too. So it's just like,
it's a great thing. So how'd you like teaching this year? showing the rookies what's up.
Yeah, it was definitely fun coming back. It was I don't know what I was expecting. I was also a bit nervous because I felt that all the winners were pretty much just as good as me, or probably even better. And so there was that whole imposter syndrome that like artists get sometimes, was just like, should I be here? Should I be talking to these people in this like position? Am I quote unquote better or anything like that? And it just comes down to sharing your experiences, whether or not you're better or worse than somebody. That doesn't matter. It's sharing your story, sharing your experiences, sharing what you have to offer, and seeing how they can utilize that and apply it or not. But it's still good to hear other artists' experiences and see where they're coming from and see where they're going.
Like you're selling here, you've been in the chit, so you know how it works.
Mhm.
I know some of the rookies, they're good artists, but they don't really know how to get out there.
Yeah.
A lot of them are very introverted, we just say very shy. And I noticed a couple of them when I started, they're scared to take the interview. I said, look, I said, y'all scared to do an interview, you're not going to make it in this field. I said, because they're going to expect you, if you get famous or you make good art, they're going to expect you to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like really, it's like, yeah, that's part of it. And I said, it's hard to sell if you're scared to talk to anybody.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I've had to learn to like work with or work around and get over. Still working on it. Like
It's an ongoing thing.
It's an ongoing thing. Yeah, I'm again. I started out very like shy and like closed off, and I just learned the importance of networking. Learned the importance of like at least interacting and talking about your art and who you are, and making people know that you are an artist at the very least, and then just see where that goes from there.
I see you do a lot of work. It's a lot. I know it's a kind of love passion for y'all, but I know sometimes it's a little get a good bit of work as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Some things take time. And I was laughing when you were showing it. You said about rain. I said, yeah, it rains a lot. I said, who the rain like Louisiana rain? Take 3 weeks off to do something. We'll do like outside work sometimes. It'll start raining for 3 weeks.
Yep.
Like, I guess we're gonna not do nothing for 3 weeks because there's nothing you can do outside. But it's great. What's I gonna ask you? Old age sucks sometimes. My brain is getting fried the more I get old. So yeah, out here in LA, you do anything? Any plans for what's your next plan? I mean, where do you want to go next?
So I think I'm gonna stay in Boston for a bit. Work the scene from there. I am working on like a graphic novel series. So the aim is to put out my own stories and put out my own work, as well as just working on other people's like client work and stuff like that. But like putting out my own stories and my own like gallery shows and stuff, just so that other people. Yeah.
Are you going to do a virtual gallery like Yucca?
Yeah, actually, I've started setting that up. So
that was nice. I really enjoyed that. I was like, man, because we had done virtual. For some reason, it never crossed my mind about art. We used to do other things, selling stuff.
Yeah.
I guess because I'm not an artist, it never encouraged me to put some artwork in there.
Yeah. And like with the pandemic and like everybody quarantining and stuff, I think it's definitely something that can catch on or will catch on even more. Like at home showings where you can go to a gallery without leaving your home and like actually experiencing those things and like, yeah.
Because I'm not 100% sure we threw it COVID yet. So.
Oh yeah. Nah.
And, I talked to a friend of mine in China 4 days ago. He said, Joe, they're shutting down half the cities in China again. I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I said, don't come to America, keep the stuff over there, man. We tired of being shut down. But if it does happen again, I mean, that's a great way to do it. I mean, you put it out because people are, you see the people in the country, they're all antsy, crazy right now. They're just happy to be out. So if you're stuck at home and you can actually go look at some really nice artwork, that's the way to do it. And they buy the piece there.
Yeah.
It can be shipped. It's a really good way of doing it.
Oh, yeah.
And more and more people are including virtual reality equipment to their gaming and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so it's going to catch on pretty good. I got a set for my 70-inch TV, and just so I can go watch stupid things. My wife laughed at me. She said, "Oh, you know where you're going there?" I'm walking down the hall. I'm knocking stuff around. And she's like, "Oh, you might want to lift it up and look for a minute." Leave me alone. I want to see what I'm doing. But it is a great way of doing things.
Yeah.
So, and of course, digital portfolios are also a good way of doing things. And then I know I had seen somebody doing the virtual, but they were just doing it where you could watch it from your TV. It wasn't actually on your head. They would just go through it like it would be like it was on the head, but it was on the screen instead.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great way to sell stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Especially, I guess somebody needs it. Maybe I'll build a website, include all the artists' virtual stuff. It's a head up with shopping. And,
that's actually been an idea of mine. Like again, like while everybody was quarantined, I was just trying to think of, okay, how can we like, not necessarily revolutionize, but like bring the conventions and these gatherings that everybody loved and missed into this virtual space while still getting that same type of community connection. And like the idea of like having a virtual convention where you can actually walk through and still see the booths
it's
or like click through.
I was thinking, John introduced me to the president of DragonCon last year.
Mm-hmm,
and I got to thinking, it's going to be in Atlanta this year. My sister's down there at the Marriott. And I was thinking, they were asking if we could film it in 3D and set it up, but they might want to do their own, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
These thinking rich. I mean, they take up 5 hotels when they're down in the middle of Atlanta. And they need no less than 3,000 rooms. And they said the whole place is just, the middle of Atlanta just becomes DragonCon.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, I'm glad they're making it. I'm glad they're out there, putting stuff out there like that. Because I'm all into, but what's your favorite medium? Fantasy, sci-fi, crazy people?
I've been doing a lot of portraits, but also I think like a mix of fantasy elements in there as well. So yeah.
Well, somebody asked me today, is all the illustrators and writers of the future going to just do fantasy sci-fi? And I said, they're going to do regular art too.
Yeah.
I said, this is just what got them here. And I said,
yeah.
they do what pays a good check is what they're going to do, and what they really like to do. People forget artists have their favorite venues to paint in. Whether they make money or not, that's up to them. But it's just such a nice thing to see so many great artists. It's nice to see that you're going to see their artwork all over. Like yours, you see it. You're going to see people's artwork all over the country that came to here.
Yeah.
I always ask them though, why do you think you deserve to be a writer in the future? They're like, well, I didn't deserve it. I just want it. So if you want it, you deserved it. That's just the kind of goes hand in hand. It's the same like LA. LA is LA. We'll just leave it.
Yeah.
I got my good days in LA. I got my bad days in LA.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that he's closed at midnight. Right off the bat, it irritates me. But, so where you headed? You headed back up to Boston.
Yep.
You like it up in Boston?
I love it at Boston in terms of like communities. I hate the weather there. Again, being from Jamaica, just that complete switch to the cold and the snow it's not working with me.
You better go down south.
Yeah, all my friends are telling me, I was like, why are you there? Just go to Florida, go to yeah.
If you go to Florida, you got to deal with hurricanes and humidity of 100.
Yeah, I've been dealing with that like all my early life.
I mean, Florida's 99 degrees in the summertime, 100% humidity. So is New Orleans, but it only lasts for 3 months and then it goes away.
Yeah.
Because we have like this time of the year, it's fabulous weather. When I left home, it was 72 degrees in the afternoons and 69 at night. It's just great weather to hang out. Of course, in 2 months, I'll be cussing everybody left and right, but that's just how it goes. Be dodging hurricanes and sweating. It's just insane. So, you coming back next year?
If I can, yeah.
I think they liked you, so I don't see why they wouldn't bring you back.
All right.
You never talked to her. They liked you. Steve Echo really likes you, so
yeah.
We're talking about Echo guy. She's one of the judges down here, and she's been a judge for a couple of years now. If y'all want to know who we're talking about, there is an archive of her from her. It was Echo, Tom, and Larry. You can catch it. It's on. It's one of the ones who published it on the very top of the page. So Mike will be right up there behind. So y'all go out and check it out and see what you see and see who you like. If you're an artist, this is the place to be. If you're an illustrator, I keep saying artist, but really it's illustrator work here. Submit. You might get to meet Michael next year.
Submit, yeah.
He'll teach you how to do things right instead of doing things weird. Well, and he can probably attest this. So when you're talking to these people, I mean, I know people tend to get in grooves sometimes. They develop some bad habits. I notice this is the place to learn how to get rid of those bad habits. Yeah. So, I mean, if you had to get an illustrator, what's your best piece of advice you could give them?
Oof.
I know it's a tough one.
Yeah, it is. It's a tough one. I would say there are two things in terms of just like art in general that I always try to tell people. The first one is if you have a goal and if you have a dream or if you have an idea that you want to work on, don't forget it. Even if you can't work on it right now or things are not working out for you or like you're taking a sidetrack, still keep it in mind because the more you think about it, the more you ruminate through it in your mind, the more you can work it out. And when you're ready, or when the time is right, or when you have any opportunity, you can just jump right back into it. A lot of people miss out on those opportunities, or a lot of people miss out on their goals and dreams because in the moment they can't get it done. So they figure it can never be done and they just drop it. So keep it in mind, and don't forget it. The second one I would say is don't compare yourself to someone. Like, people will be better than you. People will be worse than you. But instead of comparing yourself in terms of saying that, oh, I'm better or worse, use it as a point of inspiration and growth. So if you see somebody who's better than you, figure out why they're better than you and use them as a benchmark or a person or thing to aspire to get to and surpass. So, yeah.
Drop that God ego, people. I know some of y'all think y'all God out there. Y'all need to get rid of it. I want to go back to the child book one more time.
Yeah.
Put yourself in as a character. That is
true. So far, no, but I do have included like a bunch of like tiny Easter eggs and references in a lot of the books that I've worked on. So, like, yeah.
I mean, personally, I think child books is a good way to go.
Mm-hmm.
You get to illustrate all your own art. You get to put in, and for writing, you don't have to get so crazily intense because it's for kids.
Yeah.
Unless you're writing for teenagers or something. But that's a whole other nightmare. That is.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good idea because I was talking with a writer a couple of weeks ago, and he was telling me, he said, there's not enough children's books out there. He said he was doing library trips to go see how many they were, and he found at different libraries.
Mm-hmm.
And he said they were lacking. He said a lot of them were 30, 40, 50 years old. He said it's not a proper representation of the day. It was actually, what did he call them? Big eyed goofballs. He said it needs to be modernized, is what he's saying. He said kids today need to be shown a representation of today's world, not how the world was 50 years, because it's not the same world.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these, I've noticed some of these books even go back as much as 70, 73, and they're still reproducing them.
Wow.
They're putting them out there. Like Dory goes to find a fish or some shit, and it's just not a true some of them don't matter because there's nothing in them but just goofy stuff, so that doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them pertain to deal with different stuff that goes on in the world.
Yeah.
The stuff that was going on then is not the same stuff that's going on today, so it really needs to be modernized. So I hope we'll see that. How many writing? Just tons of them.
So I've been working with a lot of authors on like past children's books and stuff. I haven't fully considered writing my own children's book. I'm working on, again, my graphic novel, which is more of just like teens, older audiences. But like I have like a couple ideas of children's books that I think would be cool to explore. So yeah, nothing's stopping me.
That's the truth. When I was talking with some illustrators today, I said, if you just give up, that's all you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Because one of the girls told me, oh man, all these people are so much better. And I said, no, I seen you work. You just because anybody here. I said, but if you think like that, you're not going to be. I said, you have to drop that garbage in the thing and start thinking the right way. So I know they were talking to you live. How was the audience? With the class, you think the class was actually paying attention?
I think so. Yeah. Like I was definitely nervous and like whether or not I'd like keep their interest and stuff. But yeah, while I was like sitting there talking and like showing my work and stuff, like people seemed really engaged and like they were asking questions and like there was a nice back and forth. So yeah. Nice.
That's why I sit in the back of the class like that, because I used to sit up front so I could take pictures, but I like to sit in the back because I'm really seeing who's paying attention.
Yeah.
I know it was in one of the authors classes watching the guys right there. I'm laughing my ass off. It's hard. I mean, it's a lot of work going. The classes are intense. They start early in the morning, run till late.
Yeah, it's packed every single day. So
lately, y'all been running to 9 o'clock and stuff.
Yeah.
It's tough, but it's well worth it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I've been here for 2 years. All these people are going somewhere. One of the ladies said, well, I'm getting married and having kids. I said, we can still do art. I said, kids got to go to school. Give them the hug. Tell them watch the kids. It's funny. I was talking to you before. You weren't last night, but I was talking with Tom last night, and we were talking about how our days go and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I get up in the morning, and my wife likes to go to bed way early. So I'm usually up to 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. My problem is I just can't readily go to sleep after work or that. I'll be in the studio production. And come time to go to bed, I got to put something stupid on. Something I've seen 500 million times.
Yeah.
And I'll fall asleep. I noticed I was talking to him and Larry about it. They both said the same thing.
Mm.
But you young man, so you go to sleep easy at night?
I do go to sleep easy at night, but I still go to bed late.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I imagine when you get a piece of art, you just want to go to a certain point.
Oh yeah.
So, but how do you make yourself know where a cutoff point is?
Figuring out if I have to get up early tomorrow. that is the biggest thing. It's like, all right, do I have to get up early tomorrow? Okay, I need to be more mindful of like when I go to bed and like stuff like that. If I don't, all right.
You seem pretty good, man. I don't think you're gonna really have that big of a problem. I mean, and I know it's hard to bring yourself out. I know it's hard to put your ass on the line and put that work out there. Because you never know who's gonna say what to you. And, I've seen, over the years of doing all the radio and news we do, I've seen great artists get criticized for the stupidest little thing. One of them, we were doing an oil show, and we put 25 artists up and coming, and they all submitted their artwork. And they were giving this one girl trouble because she signed her name upside down. That's the way she wants to do it. That's her thing. Man.
Oh my God.
I'm like, wait. So I stopped in the middle of the show. I'm like, let me get this straight. I said, you look at her artwork. Her artwork is fabulous. You're worried about the signature, right? I said, look at the art. Don't worry about the freaking signature. But you shouldn't do that. I'm like, why?
Why? Yeah.
Artists can sign any way you want. So you ever notice something like Bob Ross? Bob had that big looping there, and amazed me how many people here have actually seen Bob Ross. I was like, he's like 100 years old. Matter of fact, some of the more famous ones watching him as a kid, I was like, it's a big bushy haired old guy that did landscapes mostly. Yeah. And I'd watch him do it. People like, how the hell? I'm thinking it's more thing.
Just like 3 strokes and you have a mountain, you have like tree. Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I don't know how you do that. There's no shot in hell I'm going to do that. And I watch him all the time. I'm like, I'll just watch him. It's a good thing to watch. But you ever thought about that? Maybe starting a little school, help people out?
I thought about it. I would say right off the bat. Right off the bat, I would say teaching hasn't been my passion, but I have taught. So like, actually, after I graduated from my school, Leslie University, they called me back, and I was teaching college classes for 3 years. So I was teaching animation as well as illustration and stuff. But yeah, like it wasn't my passion. It wasn't something I necessarily sought out to do, but I'm really glad I had the experience.
Well, I imagine it takes away from some of your art time.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's less of me creating what I want and doing stuff like that, and more.
Just don't get them heathens, man, them little ones. I got a friend of mine who teaches art in her 5th and 6th grade. I don't know how she does it. She's a fabulous artist, and these kids got talent, but I'm like, they are crazy. I went to one of her classes one day to explain the types of, like, what exactly acrylic is. And she said, now, Mr. Joe is not a painter in the way you think of. He paints art. He wants you to understand what the medium is. They gave me shit the whole time.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, you little heathen. You're just expressing. I said, expressing all right.
That's one way to put it.
But a lot of one of them actually ended up in Rise of the Future a couple of years back.
Oh, nice.
And, it's a great thing. So you tell people about Rise of the Future when you're out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm always encouraging people to enter.
Now, we're getting these fluff questions now.
Okay, all right.
You bet people's over the Arthur Services when you went to the tour over there?
What was that?
The Arthur Services.
Oh, yeah.
Them people are so nice, it scares me.
Yeah.
I actually made a comment. I was on a big radio show a couple of days ago. I said, what do you mean? I said, you're so nice. I'm just waiting for something to jump out. He said, what do you mean? I said, they're just so nice.
Yeah.
He said, I'm from New Orleans. People are just rude. And
it's extremely hospitable. They're always smiling, always like trying to do the best for you, which again, not everybody's used to that on a constant basis. So like, yeah.
And of course, John and Emily are always fabulous. Of course, I give John trouble all the time. I can get away with it, but he's really, I gotta say, for me, it's been weird because he's brought something out of me I guess it been buried away or forgotten about, and it's just really nice to be here with all the authors and all the illustrators. I really enjoy looking at the artwork. I really enjoy reading it. They sent me this, this one ahead of time, 38, so I could read it on my way out.
Yeah.
And it was just nice, and it's a lot of hard work in those books.
Oh, yeah.
17,000 words is not a novel. It was damn close. I remember when she told me, man, she said, well, you can write this out. I said, how many words? I said, it's not a short story. What the hell are you talking about 70,000 words? Don't sound like those short stories, really.
Oh my God.
But Emily's great. I mean, I know she works her butt off the whole entire time. It's, I
Mm-hmm.
was telling some of the people when I got here Saturday, everybody got to see her a lot. I said, well, starting Tuesday, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm going to see her late at night. Might catch her here and there, but she's on the go.
Yeah.
I said, she's got to make sure the gala goes off without a hitch. Oh, are they going to put you on the stage this year?
No, I won't be on the stage, but I don't think you'll be able to miss me on the red carpet, though. Yeah, Let's just say that.
We'll allow you to not really got the harassment. A lot of good press out there, man. I mean, I'll be working the whole entire time, but until the gala starts, and I'll be sitting there watching everybody. But it's a fun thing. It's good. I noticed that everybody's asking me, oh, I said, don't be nervous. I said, just remember, everybody here is for y'all.
Yeah, they're celebrating you.
I said, we're all here for y'all. I said, now, once you leave here and you're dealing with press, that's going to be a little bit. Probably Saturday. If I got time, I'll probably do a lecture on how to deal with the press. But
that would be good, actually.
Press and social media, because social media can make you $1 million easy. I got friends on Instagram making money hand over fist. I got a friend of mine who gets on TikTok, of all things, and just talks. He makes $10,000 a month. Yeah. It's jibber jabber, man. I'm not kidding. It's just like, dude, how the hell are you doing it? I just got a lot of followers. I'm like, yeah. Okay. And it's, I tell people all the time, but like when you put you put a website up for your illustrated art, there are companies like Dino that will actually pay you by the click from people who look at your artwork. Oh, wow. So you may actually sell your art at the same time. And if you get, say, like 10,000 people come by, they may send you a check for $500-$600. If you have a week, if you get lucky, 100,000 people come by, so they'll pay you a check for like 10-15 grand. Wow. And it's easy to use. And I don't know. I know Dean was telling me about Kickstarter, but I don't know if that helps illustrators or not. I think it's more for authors. I could be wrong.
No, yeah, I know a lot of my illustrator friends who frequently use Kickstarter, and it's been really successful. So
hey, look, this is the first time I heard that. I'm like, what the hell are y'all talking about? I just walked into the middle of a conversation with Dean and someone else. I think it was with Dean and Kevin, actually. And I said, how much you made? $40,000. What? And they were telling me about the guy that made $40 million. I'm like, no way. Yep. I said, a guy from here, he said, I think he said $42 million. I'm like, shit, where's Kickstarter? I said, I'm writing a book for sure now, man. What the hell? $42 million. Man, you retired, and you would never. That's this will be the last question, but I ask this to a lot of people. So if you make it big, are you going to retire? Or are you just going to keep
I'm gonna still draw. Like I want to make art, and like again.
You'll be doing it till you put you in the ground.
Yep. The thing is, like, I want to work on the stuff that I want to work on. Whether or not I'm making money from that, I'm still gonna do it. So it'll be great if I make money from it. If not, I'm gonna still do it.
No, you should do it because as my company got bigger, I got pickier about what I wanted to do. I wanted to do stuff that I enjoyed seeing when it was finished. I get a real big sense of accomplishments when we finish a big project. We had just finished this 8-plex. We did everything start to finish on it. Moved everything into place. We got to pick all the artwork. I mean, all the work out of it. And I tried to get the gentleman because we did this really fancy molding in there around the windows. And I said, man, you ought to let somebody come in and just put some, little thin lines around. I'm not a big fan of the grapevine thing. I know there's a lot of houses. Man, we're not Italy. Come on, people. But I have seen some interesting stuff. I've met some talented artists. But what gets me is there's quite a few I've met that do murals, but they don't do real murals. They do just like the grape leaf thing, stuff like that. There's no faces in there. There's no people in there. It's just that. And they make good money doing it. I remember when a lady come out and bid one of the jobs. It was four walls. It took her, I think, 5 days. It was $25,000. Yep. I said, I ain't never hiring you again. She's like, well, I said, that's a lot of money for some little scribbling on the wall. I was expecting like a wall mural or something. Now, I did have a lady come out, and she did like that wall behind the bed over there. She did a beautiful mural. She did like a New Orleans scene. She showed people, she kind of put Bourbon Street up there. And she had like Cafe Du Monde. She represented correctly. She had different colored people walking around. And some of them dressed funny, some of them dressed normal. She did a great mural. It was only 4 G's. And it was way more work than the other one. Yeah. But I did notice she hand drew everything first. And she came back and colored it in. Did you do it like that?
It definitely varies, but that helps a lot in terms of when you're doing larger scale murals, you can have the sketch done before. And then what some people do is project the sketch and then trace that and then just fill it in. So it streamlines the process. other people just go straight in and just like go
Well,
ahead.
that's what she told me last time. She said a gentleman had turned her onto using the projector. When she did that, she did it out by hand. But she said a friend of mine showed me how to put my art in the projector and put it on the wall. And she said, man, it's so much faster.
Yeah.
She said I could just leave it there and paint like that, or I could go sketch it out either. She said either way I feel like doing it. She said it's really easy. She said so then I learned how when I was finished just to realign it. And she said, Joe, it takes it like half the time. She don't have to draw anything.
Yep.
Paint in. And she's a really good artist, and I enjoy her work. But she's somebody who can paint everything. But she's got kind of like what we would call it, a good time artwork. Yeah, I don't know if you ever seen that old TV series, Good Time, and they would have that really funny artwork.
Yeah.
She likes to do stuff like that.
Okay.
Characters not quite to scale, they're sometimes a little different looking. But she enjoys doing it, and she's a hard worker. And she'll do 4 or 5 a month. So she's making $20,000-$30,000 a month.
Nice.
And she'll somewhere anywhere from 2 to 5 days and do a piece, depending on what it was. Now, the city commissioned her for something that she said she wished she had never got involved with. I have no idea. She said, Joe, this is killing me, man.
No.
She charged him $75,000, but she said, I'm gonna be here all month, man. And she's like, this is work. And I said, and that's another thing. And then I'll ask you this and let you go. So there comes a point when sometimes a piece of art becomes just no fun, just work.
Oh yeah.
And how do you cope with that? I mean,
that's always a hard question in terms of like when you're not feeling something anymore and it becomes monotonous. Well, monotonous in a bad way, right? There's monotonous work where like you can just turn your brain off and just kind of groove and go through it. But when it just becomes not fun, sometimes you just have to push through it or decide whether or not you want to push through it. I think it's worse when you're still battling within yourself whether or not to work on something and like you're dragging it along. It's sometimes better to just like say, no, I'm not going to do this and move on to the next thing.
Yeah,
exactly. Like for that peace of mind and that sanity, sometimes it's worth just scrapping the project or just turning it down or saying no. Other times, like you have to realize whether or not it will pay off in the end and then just go for it. So yeah,
it's I know sometimes projects can get to be just a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah,
and you don't always know in the beginning if they're going to be or if they're not going to be, but it's sometimes. Jenny just wrote in from where are you writing in from, Jenny? Oh, from New York. Hell up there in New York.
Nice.
New York. Hey, how you doing? Up in New York.
What's up?
She wanted to know: do you have to go to school to be successful?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, so.
I would say the best example I have is my best friend, and I call him my art rival from high school. His name is Richard Natu. We both did art in high school a little bit. He went to school for architecture. I went to art school, and he's been producing more art than me. He's had more shows than me. He's arguably more successful than me. And that's just him exploring his passion for art and just going for it. He learned whatever he wanted to learn either online or just like exploring and experimenting. So like if you have a passion and if you have a desire and if you can find the resources outside of school, by all means, you do not need to go to art school. But I would say art school is a convenient place where the resources are like in one area, in one close.
See, what I'd like to see is like people like y'all open up art school, because a lot of times I see people who open up art school, they're more technical, they're not really real artists. It's more like, let me teach you. It's almost like painting by numbers sometimes. I can't do that, by the way. I'm honest, I know my limitations.
Got to get you one of them coloring books and sit you down.
I can deal with my limitations. But besides, it's people like y'all. A friend of mine said, you should learn. I said, why? I said, go buy it from somebody. I said, these artists, they need to get their money, they need to work. I said, it's easier for me, it's easier for them, it's better for them, it's better for me. It's really good. So there, Jenny, you don't have to go to school if you don't want to. I know I put one daughter through art school and one didn't. They both dropped. My wife, my oldest stepson, my two of my stepdaughters are fantastic artists. I used to watch her when she was 14, 15. She was just fantastic. She said, I always wanted to go to art school. I said, okay, well, she could afford it. So she was just going to quit and go do some mundane job. I said, look, I'll pay for you to go to school. I said, if that'll make a difference, I'll pay for you to go to school. So she went to school, came out. She's a graphic art designer. Is what she was. Well, she did. She retired. But She was working for some company, basically doing commercials and shit like that.
Yeah.
She said it used to irritate her because it wasn't truly what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
But when she started, they were paying her $125, which is like 30 years ago. She got on. When she retired, she was making $250 a year,
Wow.
Plus bonuses and stuff like that. They produced it really fast. They gave bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like being in an art factory almost.
Yeah.
It kind of took the pleasure out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So she retired. Now she just draws and writes and paints just for the sake of it. That's where you got enough, aren't you? I don't want to do a show. I'm comfortable. I got my money. It's just more for my peace of mind.
Yeah. No, and this is part of the reason why I'm like doing freelance as opposed to like working or seeking out studios and stuff. Like it does keep that passion and that drive fresh.
Yeah. You know, I tricked my wife because she's a really good artist. So I said, I bought this house, and I said, baby, why don't you? I said, I'm gonna get you some pieces of glass and round, some squares. I said, why don't you just paint some of that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like it looks like stained glass. She said,
Yeah.
right. So she did about 30 pieces for the house.
Nice.
And she went on vacation with it. I went and sold them all.
Wow.
And I wanted to prove to her she'd sell it. I sold it for almost 30 G's. And she was so mad at me. I said, but look at what you sold, man. Joe, it was for me. I said, baby. I said, come on. She didn't want to be honest. She loved it. She for her it was a stress relief as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, she liked this kind of work, and she was a businesswoman. She liked being a businesswoman. It was a control thing for her, so she liked it. And I was like, okay, baby, my stepson, he's an excellent sketcher. He does great sketches, but he'd rather do construction.
Yeah.
And I said, what are you just? I said, just put it out there. No, it's not what I'm doing. It's just for me. I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah. I said, I'll help you now. I said, you use your internet presence. No, that's okay. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
That kind of weirds me out a little bit, but and I've met many people. As a matter of fact, I heard somebody that wanted to. Well, Larry was talking about it yesterday. Some guy they had found who's a great artist. He worked in a sawmill.
Mm-hmm.
They offered him a job. He said, no,
yeah.
I'm like, you know,
just turned it down.
I guess you know, there's reason somewhere along the line, but you see sawmill art. I think I'm going the other way, but it's just there's no telling why people do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess maybe it's an ego thing. Maybe they just scared they're going to fail. But, you know, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't try, you don't know. And even if you fail, you just do it again. Get out there and work again. But before we go, any last pieces of advice you can give these people?
Well, first of all, definitely enter Illustrators of the Future or Writers of the Future. If you have any interest, check out the competition. Enter. Why not? You really have nothing to lose. If you don't get it, you're not any worse off than you are right now. And you do get feedback on your entries. You do get help with like how to improve yourself, and so that you can, you know, enter again. Yeah.
Carolyn from East Boston just wrote in. What the hell is East Boston? I'm not from, I don't know. She said, is everything truly on the up and up? Is it really blind judge? And are they really what they say they are? Well, I can tell you yes, but I'll let Michael tell you.
I would say yes. I have not had a bad experience here. Seriously. If I did, I wouldn't be back here.
Yeah, well, I'm with you.
Seriously.
And if y'all know me, everybody who's listening, who knows me, knows I don't get behind anything that I think is fake or screwing people. I said everything so far has been exactly what I was told. It's completely in the up and up. Ron really set a lot of stuff on the side for these people to really make a difference. I'm grateful he did it because I'm hoping some new sci-fi will come out, some new art will come out. I was somewhere just before the pandemic, and we were on I forget where we were, some con. We had 10. Man, they had some beautiful posters, and then I hit a room. It was all art. I mean, it was all oil. And I hadn't seen oil in a big display like that, except in regular museums. I was like,
yeah,
look at this. And I'm just glad to see people still painting oil.
Yeah.
I like stuff like this. It's one of the things that reminds me that it's artwork. But there's so many of these good digital artists. I hate to hate on them. I know. Somebody said, "Well, digital's easy." I said, "Really? Have you tried?" I said, "Really?"
Oh, no.
You know, it used to crack me up. They didn't have the stylus, and you had to use them.
Yeah, the mouse and
now the stylus. It's a whole different thing. But,
and
I was watching. The last couple of days, the other night you were talking, and I was watching two of them in front of me. They just going on. And it's a much different. So I guess it's a good digital medium. You can put it down there and transfer it to wherever you want.
Oh no, yeah.
But I know. What do you want, Kimberly? You can make Oh. Well, yeah. Well, I'll ask you anyway. She said, "Do you sell your artwork?"
Yes, I do. There's this thing I like to say. Instead of calling myself a starving artist, I call myself a hungry artist, right? But yeah, I do sell my art, traditional pieces as well as the books. I do prints as well. If you want, feel free to go to my website. I do have a shop on there, or just message me directly. I do have physical pieces for sale. So yeah, I do sell my art.
Stephanie's writing in from, she's in the Bronx somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, that's jibber jabber. You need to rewrite that. I'm just let it go. You need to rewrite that question. That's jibber jabber. You got like 30 seconds. You better get to writing. Is all I can tell you.
I'm just trying to get it in quick.
Yeah, so yeah, I know. Some lady wrote into me something that wrote it back. I said, "Hey, what does it say?" I said, "You write like I do," because they call me JoJo Ease when I said that. All my hosts and all my stuff to be long. So it took me a while when JoJo Ease. I like leave out sentences, sometimes paragraphs.
Oh my god!
Well, my fingers don't. My brain works way faster than my fingers do.
Yeah.
And so that's why a lot of times I'll dictate stuff and send it out. I get that message in that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, girl, you're clicking down on the clock. You better get to writing. He just said he does some fantasy art. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's what you made me wait for. Oh my god! But anyway, Mike, I want to thank you for coming. It was a great little interview, man.
Yeah.
We got 15 minutes in too. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to meet Mike, he is down here at Writers of the Future, and you can find him online pretty easy. You want to give a website?
Yeah, sure. My website is talbotsart.com. So TALBOTSART.com. And same on Instagram, Talbot's Art. Same on Twitter. I have a Patreon, Talbot's Art. Yeah, you get the gist.
That's what, and you know, I noticed all the artists use their names.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed the writers not as much, but the artists seem to use their names as the which I think is great.
Yeah.
Put your name out there.
Exactly.
Somebody asked me one day, why don't you have a domain in your name? I said, because I run businesses that don't need my name on them. I said, it's a radio station with 100 hosts. My name don't need to be there.
Yeah.
I'm just one of the bunch. It's one of the things. But anyway, we're going to get out of here. Thanks for everybody for hanging out. So we had a nice audience listening while we were chatting. Remember, y'all can find him online. It's pretty easy. And that, that's a question. No, you can't attend the game. It's only invitation. It's only invitation. You either have to be a winner, press, or a movie star. You're not getting in any other way. Well, no, you can be a judge, or you can be somebody who's teaching, when it teaches, or you have to be a winner, or you have to be press. And I get to go because I'm press. So. You submit next year?
Yeah, there you go.
That's what I'm saying. If you win, you get to hang out. They fly down here for free.
Fly out here for free, red carpet, everything.
Yeah, we're staying at the Roosevelt Hotel. You know, they hook you up with that. I don't know if they feed you now. They feed me, which I don't need to be. You don't feed me. Keep your food away from me. But it is a really good place to come hang out. There's a lot of great people here. Mm-hmm. And all the judges and all the teachers, I'll tell you one thing about them, all approachable. You right up and talk to them. If they're busy, they'll say, hey, come catch me back in a little while. But they're very approachable, and they're here for y'all, guys. So,
they're still human.
Yeah, they are. So submit. And then like Echo and Tom and Mike, they're all fun to talk to. They got good personalities. You'll enjoy chatting with them. And they'll be honest with you about your artwork.
Yep.
And that's what you really need. So, you know, when you go show your artwork to your mom, it's beautiful. Yeah, same thing for writers. Don't believe that. Mom says, no. Mom, show my friends. Oh, no, don't. Go find a source. It's not related to you and it's not your friend, and let them judge your artwork. Mm-hmm. If somebody says it's bad, bring it to somebody else and get a couple of opinions.
Like, figure out why they say it's bad.
Yeah. Ask them why they think it's bad. And if 4 or 5 people say it's bad, and blah, 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 well, you might want to start a new piece. But you got to have honest criticism, or you're never going to become a great artist. And this is the place to get it. They'll work with you. They'll look through your portfolio. They'll give you suggestions on how to do things better.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what they're here for, guys. So submit. No, I don't get paid for saying submit. If I did, you know what I said? Submit the last 2 years, Jesus, people, I get retired.
It's like, honestly, like it's free. It's free to submit.
It's free, people. I know, Kimberly, I don't get paid to be out here. I'm sorry. It's I know y'all know I charge when I go to other places, but I really get behind these people out here. So anybody who listens to me regularly knows I'm a real ass, and I've taught many publishing companies over the years, and for being full of shit, and also many art companies over the years for being full of it. They're exactly what they say they are.
Yep.
Blind judge you. They don't care what color you are, what sex you are, what sexual orientation. None of that matters. Somebody's gonna review the stories and then they ship them to the judges unmarked. Mm-hmm. Judges have no idea who you are, what you are. They're just judging you by your art or by your stories, and that's what you need. And and sometimes it's honorable mention. Sometimes they'll send you a little feedback if you get a little higher up, and that's the way you do it, peeps.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Well, yeah, actually, if you win, you get money. Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. So you get, I think it's $1,000 for winning, and if you win the big one, it's 5Gs. And you get some big man when you look at so,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, people, you can submit 4 times a year. Get out there and submit.
Yeah, if you submit for the first quarter, don't get in. You can submit for the second again, don't get in. Submit for the third. You have 4 tries for the same competition.
And I've seen people win first and second time. I've seen people like Preston took him 38 times. Luke Wildman last year I talked to, he took him 14 times. So don't give up.
Yeah.
You're going to get in. And I mean, yes, you got some stiff competition. I'm not going to lie to you, but it's well worth it. If you can get here, it is well worth it. Have y'all ever heard me say that? Hardly at all. Usually I'm like, oh my God, what are these crazy people? We got to go, guys and girls, because we all got to get ready for the game and make ourselves beautiful and stuff like that. And it's going to need some work for me. So but I know y'all have a good day, and I'll catch up with y'all probably later. See, we will be broadcasting the game live, so from the regular net broadcast. I think it'll start at whatever, so it'll pop on the screen.
Like 7 or so.
Yeah. Is it 7?
Yeah.
So catch us. We'll be looking for us at 7. I may carry the press thing live. I haven't made up my mind yet, but just be for looking at it. You'll see guys, it pops up, and it'll send it out to all of our regular subscribers, and you'll see it that way. You get to see Mike all fancy, doesn't he? I'll be in a tux, so y'all know what I'll look like. Yeah, I look like a tux guy sometimes. And then there'll be some people who have some interesting tuxedo. No, leave it at that. And y'all catching things. So stay tuned, and we will see y'all later this evening. Goodbye, everybody.